Hello and welcome to our latest YouTube video. So as I said today, what I'm going to be looking at is our brand new hybrid method. So I am going to show you exactly how I program hybrid training, and that's going to be around strength, engine, the running and the recovery all in one. So it's going to cover all four pillars there, and exactly when I get a client into the hybrid method, exactly the training that I do, regardless if they want to compete or not, whether they want weight loss, whether they want muscle gain, whether they just want health and well-being. Regardless of what I do, I'm going to discuss how I do that. So one of the big problems with how people train, so what they end up doing is they run too much or they lift too much and they never combine the two. So there's no structure, there's no progression, and what they find then is no real plan. So what they're going to do is they're going to burn out before the results arrive. So you've got to be able to balance them together, combine them two, add them together to get the result. You don't want one working against each other. You want them actually pushing together and making sure that you get results. I always get asked this question. So what is hybrid training? What is it? What does it actually do? Well, to answer that, hybrid training, no, it's not just Hyrox. It's not just circuits with a run bolted on the end. It's where you get a strength, engine, and lifestyle, and you put them all together. So you don't want to stack them up randomly. What it wants to do is putting all them three together to get a result, giving you optimal results. So you want to be able to lift. You want to be able to give your body an engine so you can work aerobically for a long period of time and add that to a good lifestyle. And that's exactly what hybrid training is. So it's not just Hyrox. It's not just hybrid games. It's not just doing hybrid style events. It's the type of training. So what is the goal? So building a body that does it all. So aesthetically, it looks good, and that's been done without crash diet or without obsessing over something. It performs well. So there's a good output, a good engine, you're fueled well, you've got a lot of energy, and things feel good. You feel strong, both in the gym and in daily life. So you feel really strong from doing it. And the big one, ultimately, it's sustainable. So it can be seen long term. So it's not just a couple of weeks, 6 weeks, 4 weeks. It's not an 8-week program. It's a long-term continuation where you continue to see results. And that's why through my coaching, I don't do any short-term aggressive things anymore, because this program is all around sustainability and longevity. So what are the 4 pillars of the hybrid method? So there's strength. So that's the foundation. That's what it's built on. You've got the engine. So you've got the conditioning, the engine, the aerobic, a body to keep working through that. You've got the running. So you've got the structured pacing. You don't have to do it as running. We can do it on the bikes. We can do it in other ways. So don't think you have to be able to run to do the hybrid method, because you certainly don't. And then recovery. So the thing that people don't do enough, and this is exactly where them gains come from. So we'll go on to number 1, the strength. This is the foundation. This is what everything's built upon. And this is always progressive overload. All right. So more and more over time, it's not just about how sweaty can I get in a session. It's about how do I progressively overload the weights that I'm lifting to become stronger. It's building the real muscle, functional strength as well as aesthetically. And the stronger we get, the more muscle we have. We can actually eat more calories at rest. And if you're like me, being able to eat more, not put on weight, happy days. And this isn't just circuits. This is actual lifting, compound movements where you're loading them progressively, nailing form. We've got that conditioning. We've got that building the engine. So we've got that aerobic base. We've got that long controlled, low intensity runs, that zone 2 runs. We're then going to threshold work, so layering harder efforts once you've built that foundational base. And we don't want every session at max effort. Most sessions should feel manageable, and we can build it up from there. So it's not all about just kind of running. It's about how do we structure that so that we are going to make progress. And that's exactly what we do when we layer the week out with training. So when we're looking at the running, every run has a purpose. We're not just running for the sake of running. Easy runs stay easy. Harder runs have the target. Everything's on heart rate data. Everything's on perceived effort. Everything's on your pacing. It's not just kind of go out and run. We're looking at the actual purpose of every run, so it actually has a purpose to it. It's not just go and do it for the sake of it. It's why we're doing that run, and we're not just adding cardio. It's a skill in its own, so we need to make sure we're training it like a skill. And as I said, we don't have to just do running. We can change it in other ways, but the people that are going to be running, that's how we're going to do it. And then we've got the recovery, and this is the absolute non-negotiable, and this is where adaptation actually happens. Most people think, I don't need to recover, I can just keep going. But you break the stimulus you add the stimulus and break the muscles down in the training sessions. But where you get stronger, where you get adaptations is actually in the rest, the recovery. It doesn't happen in the gym. That can be your steps, your nutrition. These things compound over time. And then we'll also monitor recovery markers around soreness, energy levels, sleep quality. All of these things are going to inform the data and the decisions to what we do on a week by week basis. So it's no guesswork. We're putting all these pieces of data together to make a plan around it. So what does a week look like for me? So this is going to be exactly what a week looks like in my training block, but how people train is going to be very much dependent on their ability levels, their time availability. So for me, this isn't a rigid template. This is a balanced framework. So generally Monday is lower body strength and conditioning. We then have structured runs on a Tuesday. Upper on a Wednesday, we have a specific hybrid session, which is going to be all around Hyrox for me on a Thursday. We've then got some active recovery on a Friday. We've got some engine work or long run or something like that on a Saturday, and then some rest on a Sunday. Or we might swap that round. We might do upper strength on a Wednesday, rest on a Wednesday, upper strength on a Thursday. We might then do the long run on a Sunday, and we might just switch them round. So that is just a specific way of showing it, because then we've got recovering, we've got conditioning, we've got strength, and we've got some running. So we've got a range of different focus there. When we do the engine work, that might be Hyrox specific, where we're doing, because that's what I'm working towards, where we're doing the ergs, we're doing the sleds with running involved. That's why it's conditioning and not running. But I'll generally have one or two sole runs, but then I'll have some kind of conditioning work, strength only work. And so we'll get a nice balance of all the foundational areas there. So how I make data-driven decisions, and I touched on that briefly earlier. So a program to the date and not just a calendar. So I do ask people on a weekly basis about what their availability is and when they can train, but I'll monitor heart rate data. I do testing week 1, week 10 to look at how testing's improved, sleep quality, energy levels, soreness and recovery markers, because they're all going to play a difference. If somebody's struggling with soreness, they're not recovering well, sleep's low, energy low, there's no point me battering them with more training and adding more and more in. That's when we need to pull back. But if soreness is low, recovery is unbelievable, sleep's amazing, we've got loads of energy, that's when we can push forward. So I'll adjust recovery, so I'll either push intensity or volume or recover it. If people are struggling to recover, that's where we hold or reduce the volume. If people are progressing, we might change the stimulus, the volume, the type of training, and we'll look at kind of testing results. Do we need to reassess? Do we need to adapt? So everything around the program is based upon all of these things. So there's no two clients that'll be the same. So how do I scale it to the individual? And as I said, that plan will not work for everybody. It'll only work for me and maybe a couple of people, but I need to ensure that I do it differently. So if you are kind of a foundation, as I call it, we've got foundational, we've got someone a little bit more intermediate, and then we've got the advanced. So we're building that aerobic and strength base. We're looking at pacing. We're looking at all the 4 pillars steadily, and we're keeping intensity low, but that consistency nice and high. As people then become a little bit more intermediate, we then structure the intensity, we layer in threshold work, we begin the baseline testing, and we look at kind of balancing the quality of training through volume. And then as people come a little bit more advanced, it comes very much performance-focused programming. If people are going for events, we look at event-specific preparation, looking at testing, retesting, adjusting week by week, and then pushing their limits with structured recovery. So Wherever you are on your fitness journey, you would slot into there, and that's regardless if you're entering competitions or not, you would come into this process somewhere. So it's taking you from wherever you are in a bid to gradually bring you further forward. So what are the biggest mistakes that I see? Random workouts with no structure and progression. What we're doing today, oh, we'll do that. What we're doing today, oh, we'll do that. That's something I see all the time. We need some structure. People going too hard too often. We're going every session at 80, 90%. We're putting that on a reason, making some workouts really easy at 20 to 30%. Some are aimed at recovery. Some are aimed at progressive overload. Some are aimed at ticking the box. Different workouts are going to have a different core purpose. Ignoring running or avoiding heavy strength work. People are not balancing, putting them together. Treating recovery is optional. That is so important, and we need to be imperative. And people will copy the elite athletes on Instagram, the workouts that they're doing, and that's not a system that's built for you. The system needs to be built around you. So there's some common mistakes. So by doing all this, what are you actually building? You're becoming leaner, but you're not having that crash diet. You're coming stronger, which is going to help across all of life. You're going to be fitter. You're going to build an engine with a threshold you can sustain. You're going to have more energy, you're going to have better recovery, and so you're not just training harder, and then you become more confident. You know what you're capable, and that's how you're going to feel different. So it's not about doing more, it's about doing the right work consistently, and that is what hybrid is about. So if you do want some more information on this, the hybrid method isn't just a program, it's the system that's built around you. Go to our website, drop me a message. We've got our gym page. We've got my personal page, which is Joshua Drake Online Coach. This can be done within our fitness centre, whether you're away from our fitness centre. We are running our Hybrid Accelerator program, which is one payment, 14 days. You try it out. It isn't a watered down method. You see if it's for you. If it's not for you, you can walk away, no commitment. If it is for you, that money gets taken off your month. So regardless, you're not committing to anything. So if you do want any more information, please drop me a message. But other than that, I hope that video helped to explain how I program hybrid work and exactly what it involves.